What's up, guys? It's Talon. Today I'm going to be coaching a Vi player who's currently in Emerald. I coached them about a week or two ago, and they were playing Xin Zhao at that time, and we focused a lot about efficiency, and he really improved on that in this video, which is why he came back for some more coaching, because he was now having a little bit of trouble closing out the games. And so I'm going to kind of show you guys a coaching where I talk about closing out games as jungle once you do get that lead. And then the second game, we do again go over a lot of the efficiency things, since he kind of reverts back to the previous gameplay before the coaching. And then if you guys are interested in coaching, just $15 an hour to get coaching from a rank 5 sovereign autofill player. So just DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description if you're interested in that. And let's get right into the video.
The first point I want to mention, because you said it also in the last game, which I showed you, I know that I'm like stronger than Echo early games, so I tried to start blue actually to match, because I know he wants to start red, so I can meet him at the scuttle, you know, like this was like my first thought.
I mean, for me, that's kind of hard because I'm not just looking at jungle matchup, I'm looking at other matchups, and Caitlyn Melio should beat Leona Kaisa, and Lux should probably do pretty fine into Morgana. So like, I would do red side because Garen is going to do decent into Riven. So for me, like, I'm more thinking about that sometimes. I'm only really pathing to match someone if I have the winning jungle matchup. Like you do, you're right, you beat the Echo early, but then I'd also want to make sure that I have really good like early lane matchups. But I do like that you're thinking about that. But like for me, it's I only really do that if it's like everything aligns, if that makes sense.
But
and
you
then,
will see
small thing about your clear, by the way. So to make it faster, wait to get it to 200 HP, the blue buff, and then use your first ability to hit the blue buff and also hit the Gromp at the same time. It just like makes you dash a little faster. So
okay, nice. But you will see actually in this game, like my thought process actually turned out good, because as you see, Echo started red, and I'm on my fourth camp right now. So I know after red, I will be slightly at, I mean, 140 at the scuttle.
yeah.
And then I will probably beat Echo, because I forgot to mention the Morgana. I'm duo queuing with her, and you will see I will call her because she has prio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind making like a play like this, and like I said, like this is definitely, I really like that your thought process changed and that you're like thinking about that. And if you are duo, that also makes it easier to kind of coordinate stuff like that. So I'm perfectly fine with you still doing this. I was more just saying like that's not something I would have done, but it's still completely like fine to do because you do have the level advantage here, and then you're able to get it pretty easily. So
yeah.
And yeah, especially in duo queue, it's good.
From the point where she hit the Q, then I also commit, but then I should just Q out. But I miscalculated. I thought like, okay, maybe my team will help, but Leona and Kaiser were pretty low, so
and that is where the kind of like lane phase thing comes in, where this is like a losing matchup for them, and so then we're not gonna have prio, and that's where that leads. But you could have gotten out after you got the first kill for sure.
Yes, so I could escape. I think I could have escaped actually.
100%. It's still not the end of the world though. Like it still is pretty fun.
Yes. I got one kill. Wait. No, I didn't get it. I get one assist. I know the scuttle should be up because Echo was there. This was actually my scuttle, you know, like when I started red, this would be my.
Then it's good efficiencies too, and you can see how, because we start the buff, our camps are like spawning at a very similar time, like your other ones spawn, and then you're just able to get them all at once, and then now you can like look for an ult gank on someone or something like that after.
And 100%, I would have, before our first session, I would have just hovered maybe more in this bush, but now I saw my camps are up. I immediately cleared, and then I look for a play. So I do my blue.
Yeah, it's really good so far for sure. Also, you might want to turn the vision off so we don't see what you like. What?
Sorry. Yeah.
So that is interesting that he invaded you there. It's unfortunate because there's no way for you to really know that, but. Small thing, but do not ult so early here, because if you ult this early, you don't have your gap closing, and then she can run away like this. So you would just channel your first ability and just try to get her to use like a flash or to Q you or something, and then you wait to ult until they use their mobility to get away, because then it increases like the amount of gap that you can close. Whereas you ulted when you didn't really need to, you could have just kind of walked at her, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, yes. So you would say just Q first, like bait it out, and then when she used Q, like, or her escape tools, like Q, then
Yeah.
I ult, right?
Exactly, yeah, because then you're just
Makes sense.
creating
Makes sense.
like a bigger gap close, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Would you do the red here, or?
It's really like it's slightly risky, obviously, to do red. Most likely, I would do the red because it's quicker. But like, I don't have a problem with you recalling first.
Mhm.
But I think, yeah, you get Trinity Force. So since you have Trinity
This
Force,
is yeah.
especially, it's pretty
This
fine.
is yeah. This was my point of view, because I thought, okay, when I do the red, then recall, get my Trinity, I will be maybe late for objective. I like to be like 1 or 5 seconds before the objective sounds. I like to be in the area, just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure. Okay.
And like I said, since you have Trinity, it's fine for you to do that. Say that you were one camp from Trinity, then doing the red would be a bigger deal. Here, I would just do
Okay.
the red again, which I don't hate that
But
you go for
wait.
this because you see a possible kill, but like for me, I just go for red. It's just more guaranteed, and then yeah, still works though. And then small thing about
Yeah.
you could have auto reset there with your thing, but
Yeah. Auto E, right? Auto
yeah.
E. Okay. Mhm. Again, yeah. Auto E. Okay. I missed it. I missed it.
But I mean, I definitely see like big improvement already with like the efficiency and everything here. And I mean, this is like generally how most early games on Vi will go. Like you'll have a big lead just because she's so good. When
Yeah.
like if you're efficient and you get level 5 and you play around that, it's like pretty
Bro,
impossible not to get a lead.
I just heard your tips, man.
Yeah,
Really, I just heard your tips.
exactly. It's really good. And the ult cooldown's crazy. I think you've ulted 3 times this game already. That was obviously a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
like we didn't have much follow up there, and that's why again like kind of generally the time where you're gonna want to ult is after either you ult if like your teammates have really good ability to follow up. That's when you can like raw ult. But if you're trying to 1v1 someone, usually you want to be able to first ability like and actually hit the first ability knockup and then ult, because
Okay.
otherwise again they're gonna Lux is gonna Q you, she flash away. You get stunned. There's so many ways that you're not really going to be able to kill. So that's like the main mechanical thing that we've seen a couple times.
Okay. Okay. So you would say I should just more go with Q first, and then like QE. And when do you use your shield? Like I just use
Typically
it
after it's
randomly.
at 5 stacks, if I can get it to 5 stacks.
Okay.
But like obviously if I'm low and I need to get it earlier, then I'll do it, because it obviously is a bigger shield the more you build it up. So I'm typically gonna like usually I'll do like say first ability auto, then East for a second auto, then I'll alt, and then I'll auto again, and then that gets me 5 stacks, and then I'm shielding after that, because then that also gives me the gap closing. Because say they do stun me after I use my full combo on them, I get more movement speed, I can catch them. Small thing I would have gotten my other camp there, the red side camp was up and you were really close to it, you could have just farmed that and then gone here. Super small thing, but something that
I missed. Okay.
yeah, and that's again, it's not a huge deal, but it is some gold that we missed
And
out on.
this is major. This is major. Look, I tried to chase because my ult was like on 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I think this was major. I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it.
I don't think it's that bad to chase like that, honestly. Like,
yeah, because I die here because I'm stupid. I just didn't dodge something.
I don't really think it's like as big of a deal as you're making it out to be. Like you saw a possible chase for a kill and your team was there to follow up. Your ult was almost there, and so you tried to go for it. You end up getting hit by an ability and die, but like you still trade 1-for-1. Like I don't really have any problem with the thought process there at all, and I think it's fine how you play it.
Oh, Garen gets caught. Okay.
He's Garen. He might just live anyway because he's broken.
Demacia.
Yeah. Why did Riven gargoyle there? That was weird. Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, I guess if you see an invade angle, actually, that's fine. Yeah. Echo's the jungle, okay. So I'm assuming Echo would. Oh, he just bought, so he's in base. So yeah, I mean, this is a good time with the Infernal map to take advantage of the invade.
Yeah, the Infernal is like one of my favorite because it's like very open for invades. It's perfect.
It's a fun map when you're ahead, but it's a really not fun map when you're behind, because then you're getting invaded 24/7.
You're actually right.
Again, I would just sit on my camp. You know, I would just finish the camp here, and then like I would just
Because I
do
thought
whatever.
Kai'Sa has ult.
Yeah. It's like 2 extra seconds. You're gonna have ult up anyway. Like you're most likely gonna be able to get something. If you see an angle for it, I don't hate it though. You know, like
Mhm.
I don't
This was
hate doing
okay.
something like that.
Okay, okay.
It's again like I'm more like this is the way that I'm always playing is just like really hyper focused on efficiency, but like I don't mind if you sometimes do deviate in a situation like that if you see an angle, even if it's not something I would always go for. Because going for some kills or trying to play more in that type of style is perfectly fine if you see angles for it. So, and then yeah, again, just auto E is like something you don't do very often. So,
Yeah, auto E, auto E. I have to remember. So here you would just auto E, right? Auto E. Okay.
yeah, every time. I mean, the only time that you're really like gonna just E by itself is if you need to either hit the splash damage on someone like behind, or if you want that little extra auto range to catch someone because it does increase your auto range. So.
Ah, yes. Okay, okay. One question here. What do you see like matchup wise?
Yeah.
Vi versus Bruiser. I mean, Darius, I wouldn't beat, or rather don't beat. But what do you say, Riven? Because we are actually, I'm ahead of her.
Yeah.
Would you fight her in this situation, like limit wise? Because you're a very good
Yes,
Vi.
fighting Riven is fine here, but the thing that you need to do into Riven to guarantee that you'll win the 1v1 is the third Riven Q. If as Riven is queuing onto you, you Q at them, you'll cancel their Q. And then after you cancel the Q, you'll start you'll auto attack E whatever, and then as she if she dashes away from you because she realizes she's gonna lose, then you'll ult after. And if she keeps fighting you, then you'll just ult to cancel another dash later. So basically, you need to use your first ability and your ult to cancel her dashes, especially her third dash.
Okay, okay, nice, thanks.
Like even here, you could have kept running at her and just fighting. But when you Q like that, it's really dangerous because she can dash onto you now that you don't have your Q. But if you wait for her to go into you and like guarantee the Q and you just walk at her until then, that's when you're gonna like guarantee the kill. But obviously, since your team's coming, just like ulting onto her is fine. But generally speaking, because also if your team is coming, another thing you can do is you ult onto them and then you just Q them backwards after, because then it just like CCs them for a long time. So it basically is just a good way to kind of have longer CC.
But that's I have to be before them, right? For
So if
from
you
location,
ult,
right?
you automatically end up behind someone. So then you can just Q them backwards as soon as you land on them.
Okay, okay, good to know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's like second Drake. So I didn't got my. Do you have actually your? That's interesting. Your GA before second Drake.
It usually, like not always, it's gonna be pretty dependent on the game. Being at
Pretty,
about the
pretty.
gold that you're at is fine. One thing that you should have done on your recall, you should have bought Gargoyle if you didn't have GA, because that Gargoyle is gonna be much more significant in a fight rather than just having an additional like armor thing. So.
Okay.
Like I'll build GA before I get Gargoyle if I have the full one before first Drake, but if I don't, then yeah, like I'm gonna usually try to get Gargoyle if I can as I'm recalling.
Oh, Smite was terrible, but
It's hard to like Vi is not the best like Smite combo champ. It's sometimes hard. I mean, ideally you combo it with your third like auto, but like do you know how like that passive works? You know, like with the third like damage dealt, that it does more damage.
this is pretty thick. Like I'm pretty, and the limits are crazy with because
Yeah,
you see like Trinity Force is so broken.
Trinity Force on her is really good, and she's just really strong. Like I think, like I said, like you're playing this early game quite well. I think there's like pretty
That's
small
why
mistakes, but overall it's very good.
Yeah, that's why my mid game was better, because my early got better. So I think it transcends like to the later stages.
Yeah.
But you will see. I can't close it out. That's I want to know how you would proceed.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's great though. Like we've improved on a certain aspect of the game, and we can look at it in the next aspect. Like I already can see like this makes your mid game so much easier. And then yeah, we can see what happens. Sometimes games are unwinnable, like we said, but we'll obviously see what specifically happens. I mean, if you want to pull up the scoreboard, we can kind of evaluate at the moment like what would be potential issues in this game. I mean, so like Riven and Caitlyn are like seeming to be the mission. You can keep the replay going. There's not much going on anyway, but Riven and Caitlyn are currently seeming like the biggest issues, but there's not really anyone who's specifically like strong. So pretty much, yeah, at the moment, I'm not necessarily thinking about targeting any specific person, but probably like going on Caitlyn or Riven most likely is what I would do in the fights.
Caitlyn or Riven, okay.
But like I said, like if you see an angle to go on anyone here at the moment, it's fine because there's no one who's specifically like a big problem. So and then hovering here is okay, but I would probably just be on my blue at this point as well. Like,
yeah, efficiency.
and it's not like I said, like you going and sitting there for 5 seconds, I don't have like a big problem with that. That's more of a like, oh, and this time I would have been on that, but you going there first and then coming here is not really a big problem. But once you farm your blue, you should be doing your Gromp as well. That's kind of the main thing. It's like once we do decide to farm there, we definitely need to get all of the camps in that area, but they're spawning at a more similar time and everything. Whereas now it's kind of a little bit off, but.
Okay.
And then go through mid first. That's the thing. Yeah. Okay, you do. Perfect. Exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And then obviously once the fight breaks out, it's good to go in.
I get the Riven.
Yeah.
I have GA. I go in.
Yeah, I don't hate continuing to go in either. Like that's mostly fine. But I think at this point you have to back off. Yeah. Okay. This is where the big issue comes. Like at this point you just ping retreat and you just let your team leave because your GA is popped and like the fight's not looking good. And you flashed in. If you did do anything, you would just queue over the wall and then just kind of sit there and see if you find an angle. But like,
but
this is probably where the big or one of the major turning points happens, where you're kind of really over aggressive trying to push your lead. When again, we could just chill and farm, and then if we see an angle like you saw the angle in the Riven, you take the kill, but you don't need to continue to go super far.
Okay, and that's I think the problem is I don't know 100% limits because my champion pool is like more, for example, Xin Zhao. I'm pretty sure with the Xin I could have gotten more there, but with why not? That's just I think the limit also.
And I think it's okay to try it. Like I don't have a problem with trying it as long as you're thinking right after, you know, what went wrong and then trying to fix it in the future. Because it's fine to limit test when you're learning a champ for sure.
Yeah. Because you would have known that there are no plays anymore, right? Oh, fuck the Baron. I tried to see
this is another issue here. You should. Why are you zoomed out now? Go back in. But the issue with how you played it mechanically here is that you ulted in right away again. Again, your ult is usually not your initial engage tool. And if you want to go back on the thing as well, just go back to like pause it kind of when you're sort of posturing around the Baron.
Sorry.
Like I want you to pause it like right when we see them, basically, and like you actually have like the information on what you would go. Like typically, when you're in a position like this, like you can scroll so we can see them, like you would be going on the jungler most likely, or just trying to like ult onto someone who's really close into the pit and then going for a steal at this point, and then gargoyling as you're like in the pit once you're really tanky, so that you don't take as much damage. You're not really going to just be targeting a random person in the front here, and then again you want to engage with your Q first and then ult rather than ulting in first, because you don't have follow-up. So again, like the time where we're going to ult in first is either when you know you can guarantee a kill. So again, we would have ulted like here on Lux, for example, because I would have queued in and then gone on someone who's on the pit.
I'm stupid. Who did I ult? Wait.
Riven. You're ulting Riven,
Oh, completely stupid, because there everything comes Q, right?
Yeah, and Riven's also a lot more dangerous, obviously, like can actually like fight you when you're on them. But yeah, I think the main thing is like our ult, unless you know you can guarantee a kill, because say like you ult onto someone, say you ult onto a Soraka with no flash, like you could ult onto her because you know you're going to be able to just stay on her. It's going to be easy, right? But if you ult onto Riven, someone who can stun you, you know, someone with a flash, Lux with roots, we generally just want to be using our first ability first to go in. And in a situation like that, when our team is not in the position to follow up, we're not really aiming to just kill someone. We're more aiming to get in the pit and then steal. So you'd kind of just be doing that. But I think you kind of understand. I don't know why you keep zooming out. But...
Oh, sorry. Wait.
The Morgana's hitting the Qs.
Yeah, she's very, very good with Morgana. No. Yeah, here I go. I think with normal Klee. Oh no, I go immediately for the Drake.
I don't think it's the end of the world because you're just trying to sneak it. But then once you see them, you kind of just have to leave.
Yeah.
Because
Like
like at
right
this
now.
point, you just have to go back over the wall and just try to wait for your team instead of staying in here. But I
Yeah,
don't mind you trying to sneak it as like a distraction. But now we do it a
Mhm.
little late, so it's harder to go over the wall. But since it's soul, like I don't mind trying to get it. Yeah,
I'm so stupid. Didn't.
that's fine.
I
I mean, you miss.
because I
Sometimes you
played.
miss. It happens.
Yeah, I just missed. I had smite. I know it.
Yeah, but no, I don't mind the idea of that. It's just yeah, we could have queued over the wall a bit sooner rather than like greeting for it. But then yeah, it was still like a fine overall decision.
Mm-hmm. Now I clear my camps. And gold wise, we are 3k up.
Yeah,
3k.
and that's the thing. We had like a lot bigger of a lead, and then like we weren't really able to push the lead because of some of our like over aggressive plays. So like even though we're still in a fine spot, and again I would just farm my Krugs there. Like even two of them are dead, and there's just one
Okay.
T-Rex. There's not really much that we need to do here. Like our team would be fine either way, but not a huge thing. I mean, it's still fine to be here. But see, like that's what I mean, where it's like you
Yeah,
ulted him
yeah,
after he
yeah.
flashed. It's exactly
Yeah,
how we do it,
I
right?
directly know. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you might just be able to chase her, yeah. Oh, the trap.
The traps are. Yeah. On the million stats. He's trolling, but.
And then another thing that's like able to be done in later parts of the game is like you can push waves a lot more too if like you see an angle too. So like you could even just go up on this next bot wave, get that pushing with your team. Obviously your Morgana ends up being there, so it's fine. Just let her get it. But, like say Morgana wasn't there, you just push that wave first and then you recall. So like even in terms of efficiency, you can start focusing on waves to increase your gold as well. You obviously don't want to go on a bot wave when Baron's up, but like since Baron's not up for 30 seconds, you'd be able to in this scenario. What rank is this, by the way? I forgot.
I'm Emerald 3 right now.
Okay, gotcha.
And my goal is Grandmaster.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, I think with the way you're playing, if you're just sticking to jungle and playing like this with, I mean, I think you can play a very similar way to Xin Zhao, or with Xin Zhao, like, I think that'd be fine. Again, you ulted too early, you see how she flashed, right? If we didn't, and then now you don't have flash, so now you're in more danger, so.
Oh, okay. So I got her, but you still say it's a bad trade because I've lost flash. And...
No, it's not a bad trade. It's a good trade. You just could have not flashed because if you first ability onto her and just auto attacked her, you just wait until she flashes away. But when you, and also another thing, small mechanical thing, you can just pause real quick and then we'll talk about the rest of the game since it's an important part. But when you first ability onto someone, even if you want to ult them, you'll first ability auto attack E to get more damage, and then your ult after to get the maximum damage. But you first ability and then ulted right away, which is not as much CC time, because if you get the knock up from the first ability and you ult right away, you're overlapping the CC, so then it's not as long. Whereas if you're squeezing in an auto and an E, then by the time that you ult them afterwards, your E is back up and you can auto E again, so you're getting way more damage. And again, because she flashed there, then we had to use our flash. So it's not that it's a bad trade. This is still valuable. This is still better. It's good that you did this compared to doing nothing. It's just that we could have optimized it.
Okay, and you say the best for engaging is like Q auto E, right? Q auto E.
Yes, Q. So the overall combo, Q auto E, alt auto E, will be like you'll one shot like anyone.
Okay.
Obviously, you won't one shot like a full tank Malphite, but like
Yeah. Now it's like Elder time.
Yeah.
This is.
The only problem is Kai'Sa's not really here, so going in would be dangerous, which, yeah, you end up kind of realizing that, so that's fine. And then we don't really want to like hard engage here because we don't have Kai'Sa, and our teammates are fighting on bot side, so this is kind of the issue, is that we're chasing a lot too far without awareness of like where kind of our carries are, and then he ends up dying, which is where the fight kind of gets like, in a really bad spot. And again, you don't ult him until he ults, because you're going to want to, like, yeah, obviously if he just runs away.
Oh, Riven ins, okay. Pretty good. Yeah, this is the thing. Okay, no one pushes the wave because I lost
and
this.
Again, that's part of the thing where it's like, that's why we want to sometimes push waves as jungle. And I'm not saying that you could have prevented that in this scenario, but that's why sometimes we're looking to push waves, is so that then we don't have to deal with that at later parts of the game.
Yeah. Like Kaiser's dead, and Kaiser was
Like even
really
here,
NPC.
yeah. Even here
She
though,
was.
I would
She
try to
was.
go through mid first, like, and just try to get the mid wave pushing and just start to have pressure through there. Because like we're not scared of them getting the thing yet, and then once they go onto it like this, then we'd start. Whereas like you went onto the dragon right away, you could have just gone through mid first, but it's still fine to just go for a steal here. You have to make sure you ult the Echo though. You'd probably want to go on Echo early because he's gonna have a way better smite than you. Okay, and then this for the problem is you're ulting instead of trying to steal. Right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you should have tried to ult Echo a lot earlier because he just has a better smite combo than you, so you don't really want to have it be a 50-50 like this. But once it gets low enough, you have to just try to hit the smite rather than going on someone like that.
Oh man, yeah, and this is pretty much, I think. Okay, so at this point, because we were so far ahead, right? I was 16,000 gold. It was
Yeah.
actually more than everyone also on the enemy team. So I'm the most fed out of 9 people. But at this point, you said I should have just go mid.
Okay, so
First?
there's a couple. So first of all, start building gargoyle much earlier. The fact that you don't have gargoyle
Okay.
is really bad. Start building that like
Okay.
after your second item. That's just a side note. But
Mhm.
what you should have done is like earlier, not right when they were on it. Like if you, I don't know if it's might be kind of hard to rewind to the exact point, but basically what
No.
we can try rewinding to talk about like when. So like for example, here it's fine. Okay, just pause here. Like it's fine. Here it's fine that you were kind of like looking for something, but when you saw your teammates in bot side, you should have started coming to them earlier here. So that's the 1st issue, is that we weren't paying attention to our teammates' positioning and we were looking for a fight despite our teammates not being in a position to fight. So you should have been playing more around your teammates earlier. But then once you get into this position, you need to start pushing waves because wave priority makes it so that they can't pressure as hard. So you would go through mid right away here. After we see they're not on the Elder, we would go through mid and then push the mid lane because they have to respawn.
So I right now I have to, because this time actually it's waste, because I go here, the auto attack it sometimes. So you said instead of this I should have gone right here, because my Garen, he was always like going with me with Morgana. So
Yeah.
we should have just go mid. Okay.
Yeah, so you control mid because then they have to choose between mid or the Elder. Whereas now you see how they get mid, and then once they get mid, they're able to come into you, and then your turret's getting pressured. So basically, you would have done what they do.
Okay.
And also
Okay,
late game, you can just E the wave, and your E, do you know that does like a cone of damage behind, basically?
Yeah.
So you can clear waves pretty quick as well, which is why it's nice.
Maybe I should have gone from the other side. What do you see? What do you say?
This is fine. Everything you do here at this point, once we're in this situation, apart from ulting, you know, the wrong person, is fine. It's just the earlier setup. That's all that was the problem.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I understand.
But I mean, I like the way that you're playing this game. Like you're doing what you need to do to get into a position to consistently be strong. And so you're going to have a lot of like, you're either going to have games like we saw your match history, a lot of the MVPs are the ones where you're winning a lot and just cleanly closing out, or you're going to have games like this where you're fed and then you make a mistake or two, or your teammates troll, and then you get in a position where you do lose the game, but you're still strong enough where you see how even at this point after they got the Elder Dragon, there is a chance that you win because you're still this strong. And so obviously you're going to lose. But like, you're still always in a winnable position because you're playing consistently and farming well, and so you're gonna in the long run be able to climb and win a good amount. And Xin Zhao is another good champion to play a similar style. So the only difference with Xin Zhao is the slower clear speed makes it a little harder to get as good of an early game. So you have to focus a little harder on farming.
Thought process was like, I actually don't like the mid laner because he just picks Diana every time. I won't play with him. Like, it's fun, but he just plays Diana, and I think for Diana's not good. Like right now, it's like
I think
better
Diana's
for
fine.
control.
I don't think Diana's bad. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Just like
Diana is
as
countered by
control.
Lissandra. Like, this is a bad matchup for sure. But their vision, put their vision to so you don't see it. Same thing. Okay, a small part about the clear again. So this is another efficiency thing. And if you want to just watch like my gameplay at some point, you'll be able to see how I clear. I don't start blue side that much, but so it might be hard to find a blue clear, but I can show you also. But with your clear, only use your first dash to hit the thing. Don't use a second dash. Just use your second dash to go to Krugs. Like this one, you can't hit red and Krugs at the same time. So you'll just finish the red completely. But as soon as you finish your red, then you Q to Krugs. But you Q'd a second time for damage. But then that's slower because then you're not rotating. And then when you go to this camp as well, hit the Scryer's Bloom because then you can see if they're on their blue buff or not. Do you know what like the vision thing or whatever?
Yes. Sometimes I do it and sometimes I not, but okay, yeah.
So if you, I would just say just watch me do a Vi clear up for my red side, because if you do it the way I do it, you'll hit the vision thing and then your Q will come off cooldown to give you a gap close on the Raptors at like perfect timing. So if you're able to like get that kind of exact timing down, I would have finished this. And also I would finish this without smiting this. I would be finished 10 seconds before you without using a smite if you just do it like how I did it. So
okay.
And then I would have farmed instantly the scuttle again, just for faster, because then you go Gromp and you're going to get level 5 faster, and then you're going to gank on level 5 rather than a level 4. Yeah. Because when you do it like this now, you will, like, they'll be level 5 as well, which then means they have more ways to respond to your ganks. But if you do it super quick, you get level 5 before the enemy laners, especially the dual lane. Again, go Gromp for level 5, right?
Yeah,
this is a big issue here. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you could be here on level 5 and just kill them. Because so what you can do a lot of times when you do this clear is after you get your Gromp, you go through the lane like you are now, right, in this bush, and then you're able to ult them really easy. But the way you're doing it, you don't have ult this whole time. So this is like the main first issue.
They have vision. Look, wait, they have vision.
Yeah, but again, you should be able to have sweeper to do that. Like again, because you'll clear the scuttle, you'll go Gromp, and then you'll go through the lane like you did. Yeah. That ult interaction was funny, but then you'll sweep the bushes as you're walking, and then you find the vision. So but you see how you still have to clear your Gromp. Even now, just go get Gromp before you recall. So very bad efficiency so far. Unlike the previous game where it was really good, this one we are lacking a lot of efficiency, both in the clear speed and then in the not just going instantly for the level 5.
So you do like directly scuttle, then Gromp, and then
yes, because if you do scuttle and Gromp, you get level 5. So yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then why you zoom out every time, bro? Just zoom in. Zoom in.
Sorry. Okay, so here also QE.
And again, just you need to be farming your camps. You need to be doing your Raptors. You see, like your Gromp would have almost already respawned again. So we've like lost almost an entire spawn again. Very poor efficiency once again. So was this also after the coaching?
Actually, yes.
Okay, so like
because
So it seems like in this game, for whatever reason, maybe the pressure of 5Q made you want to play differently, because I do understand sometimes you want to play a bit differently when you're playing with other people, but you kind of reverted back to your old habits in this specific game. And so I think that's something that does need to be like reiterated in your mind more. Just again, even here, where should we be right now?
Actually on blue side.
Yeah, all of them are up. All 3 of the camps are up.
And
also, again, same thing. Remember, you ulted when you should have just hit Q first and then ult once he runs away. So.
And I know actually this is also stupid because
you're not gonna kill Garen,
yeah, I won't kill a Garen or a Mundo. It's pretty rare. So this is pretty like I just lose my resources. Look, Riven is behind and
yeah, he almost gets killed too, even in the 1v2.
Oh, crazy! It's crazy. Yeah, so I should be on my blue side. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you're not even gonna hit Trinity Force this game. Like, you have to hit Trinity Force every time. Like, you were talking about how OP Trinity Force is. Well, then try to get Trinity Force, bro. Like, it's OP.
Yeah, and but most of my games actually after the first session I got Trinity actually. This was
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's sometimes it happens. I mean, even I'll do this sometimes where I'll end up having a game where I go back and like I try to gank too much, and it happens. But it is, kind of the thing that we need to just be keeping in our mind.
I saw he invades, and I invaded too.
You could have invaded his Gromp too there. Like, that's the thing. You could have taken more. His Gromp is up, and you know he was topside recently. I know you want to instantly be on the objective, but like, it's better to just get more guaranteed, and then you can just go on the opposite objective of wherever he goes, because we're losing this game pretty heavily. So.
And look now, this is like major fault because I looked at after I had the game. I have Trinity now in base, but I go for the Drake because I thought, okay, maybe I can contest.
No, you should just drop the thing in mid and then just go farm right after.
Just go right. Yeah. I thought like bot lane is look. Oh.
Yeah, and now you're just like very
Yeah.
weak, and then yeah, we just end up dying. So I mean, you can see your mistakes. You know, these aren't
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
things. So and yeah, like the loss, for example, that you showed me the previous loss, and then I'm assuming the 12-1 loss would be a similar thing. I'm okay with you losing from those types of plays because you're making new mistakes, right? But this game, you're losing from the exact same mistakes that I already told you about in the previous coaching, right? So the good thing is that we have proven that we can play in the way that we're talking about from your other games.
Yeah.
And then now we have new issues to work on, which are the things I really want you to focus on. But I need to make sure that in the early game, you're not reverting back again to playing this style. So we definitely need to like make sure that we're focusing on that. Again, even here, you have another camp on your red side. Go clear all 3 of the camps on your red side. Here again,
I saw that
your Q.
Talon.
Yeah, okay. The problem again, though, Talon, if you just queued him properly, and then you waited until he started ulting, and then you ulted him after he ulted, you're going to catch him, right? But the way that you did it, then you have to flash, and then even here, if he didn't mess up, he wouldn't have even died. So.
But this is big. This is big. So when I will have the habit to use R not instantly, it will be way better.
Yeah,
later.
it'll help in a lot of mechanical things for sure. And yeah, we'll write notes out about those things, about the specific mechanical things. About I'm not really going to write more about the efficiency because we've already, that was the last session we spoke about the efficiency stuff, and you have proven that you know how to do that. But the main thing that is then like the later parts of the game, kind of playing around the waves as well and stuff like that. This game, I'm assuming this game's pretty over at this point. Like if you want to look through specific more parts of it, we can. But like I don't know how much more we'll be able to find.
Actually, no. It's I wanted to just look at the early, and then it was just snowball.
Anyways, so starting off, first thing we spoke about again, I just wrote the optimal combo for you. But just generally, do not ult first. Instead, engage with Q and ult after they use escape tools. And I'm not saying every time, again, like we said, sometimes it is, and I got the money by the way, but sometimes it is good to ult first if you know you can blow someone up or whatever, but we spoke about that. But just generally don't ult first. And then use Q or ult to cancel skills. So again, remember like the Riven, for example. And you hear me, right? Just making sure. Yeah, so like the Riven, for example, you can use your Q or ult to cancel skills. Generally use W after.
This is pretty hard, right? The second point. This is pretty hard.
Yes, it is. It's not something you can always do. It's something that you gotta practice, and sometimes you'll mess it up. Sometimes it'll go well.
Against Pantheon Jungle, and you cancelled his E. This was crazy.
Oh yeah, that video. Yeah, and that was there was also a Riven in that game that I also canceled a dash one time. I remember. So yeah, like those are things. Yeah, those are things that you're not gonna do it every time. I messed them up plenty of times, but it's something that you got to try to aim for to like win those smaller interactions, or just like try to do it because it can help you win a 1v1 that you would otherwise lose. And then use W after doing full combo.
W after that. Okay.
Yeah. Those are like the main mechanical things. I don't think there's other mechanical things. Then buy Gargoyle. Usually
Gargoyle
after GA.
Yeah. After GA, okay.
Not always. Like usually, don't buy Gargoyle at all if they have anti-shield builders. Because so like into a Talon, for example, I don't build Gargoyle or Sterix. Instead, I build Sun to the Sky instead of Sterix.
Why?
What?
Why?
Because Sterix is a shield, so if I'm playing against a lethality champion like Zed or like Talon, who is likely to build anti-shield, I don't want to build the shielding items.
Okay.
So
I understand.
So I can just write this.
Okay.
Into anti-shield builders. And obviously, like every AP champ can build it, but usually they don't as much, so I don't worry about this super hard into AP. I usually worry about more into lethality champs who can build Serpent's Fang. But into anti-shield builders, do not build Sterix, and I wrote in the other point, instead builds Under the Sky.
But Sunlit Sky is like more attack damage item, right? Not defensive.
It's more damage. So the problem is you don't really have a great alternative that's going to make you like super tanky, and it could be Death Dance as well. So I'll just write, can also be Death Dance.
Good against Zed and like Assassin's.
So it could also be Death Dance or Ma. So those are other situational items that you can build depending on the game. So it's like it'll be so basically the Sterix is generally in your build the like the all-around item where it gives you health, it gives you shielding, so it gives you tankiness, it gives you damage. Since it's health, it's tankiness against both types of champions, AP and AD. Whereas Death Dance or Ma obviously is only against one, and you already have the GA and you have armor and MR, so generally getting some extra HP is what we prefer in terms of the build, which is why Sundered Sky does give 300 HP. Obviously Sterix gives 400, whereas these other ones are giving just like armor and mag resist. So unless so that's why generally it's Sundered Sky, but obviously if it's mostly AP or mostly AD, you can do Death Dance or Ma instead, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
But then the problem with that is then you have to be building something different than Twin Guard, because Twin Guard's also a resist, and then you have no HP, and then that's where it just comes hard. Okay. Yeah.
I had one question.
Yeah.
As I remember, because now I spammed a lot of Vi. One Zin I had also. It was alright. Was it right for Zin? Like
for Zin, Yomu's defensive boot, Trinity, Sterix, Death Dance, Modern situational. Yeah, but also, wait, was I coaching you? I was coaching you on Zin or someone else?
Yeah, you coached me on Zin.
Yeah, but then I also said Sunder, Cleaver, first two items if they're tankier, right?
Yeah, Sunder, Cleaver if they're tanky, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's pretty simple, yeah.
Exactly, but yeah, you have the rest of this stuff down. There's still, I think, a couple more points we could speak about, which was like the later part of the game, in mid to late game. Focus more on making sure waves are pushed before rotating, or before contesting objectives. Basically, like, style matters a lot.
Yeah, this was crazy because we directly saw that the enemy was doing our idea, and
exactly
because of that they had like the advantage and I had the disadvantage. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then the last thing for steals, ult the enemy jungle, and make sure you aim more for a steal than one kill. Is there anything else we talked about? I'm trying to think if there were other specific things.
I think it's pretty much everything. I think it's crazy.
Then yeah, if you don't have any other questions, I'll see you later.